All right. Thank you all for joining us for this week's From the Bench of Islam Ali, joining us from Cairo. We're so excited to have him give us a little tour of his space and show us some of his work. Islam Ali is a book artist and papermaker. His artist books explore the possibilities of historical bindings in contemporary book art practice, combining book traditions with digital technologies and investigating the relationships between content and context. His work is held in collections worldwide, including the Library of Congress, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Smithsonian Institute, National Museum of African Art, and the British Library. He's currently a lecturer of design in the College of Art Education at Helwan University, Cairo, Egypt. And so with that, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'd like to thank Sarah and San Francisco Center for the Book for having me. And thank you all for coming. So I'm now in Cairo, Egypt. It's 9:30 p.m. The weather is 75. So I'm pretty sure it's very different than what all of you have here. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about my practice, but also I will show you the place I'm living in and give you a little tour of my apartment studio space. So just give me a moment while I share my screen. So can you see the presentation? Perfect. Okay. Okie dokie. So I'll first start by showing the space around me. So you can see me now here in the, just a moment here. So here, I'm sitting on this chair right here, and on my back here are these. This is my apartment, but also part of it is my studio. Here, these two doors, opens up to the small space of my studio storage room. Just a moment here. So this is the door. As you can see, I like to collect different things from old markets all over Cairo and bring them to home and use them in my house. This is the space that I use in work. So mainly I have this table with my computer, my printer, my different tools, a library with all the books. I also have a storage for the different weights that I use. On the other side, you can find a library with the important books, and also I have a storage for all the different materials right here. You can see at the bottom the cut trimmer also. And having living in a city and having a limited space, I have to move things around. So a lot of times I would move things around to my dining table. I have a small nipping press. I have two nipping presses. I have small saws. I have the hole puncher, the cut trimmer. So I would move things around a lot of times, in the apartment while I'm working, depending on the size of the edition or the project that I'm working on. So this is a little bit about the space that I'm working on now. So next I'm going to talk about a project that some of you might have seen. It's the Friends, Peace and Sanctuary project. This was a 2-year project from September 2017 until July 2019. And I'm focusing specifically on this because this project, while doing it and the kind of research I did it inside it, inspired me to do a lot of the other work that I'll be showing also. So the project had different components. Part of it was working with people who resettled from Syria and Iraq into Philadelphia. And the other part was also going to the Friends Library at Swarthmore College, as well as their Peace Collection, to do a kind of research there, an archival research. And part also of the research that I did was in Egypt, because this part started while I was still in the US, but part of it I continued while I am in Egypt. So I did extensive visits to the Islamic Museum in Cairo, as well as the Ethnographic Museum in Cairo, also to explore some of their objects and use them in my work that I'll show you. So in this project, the idea was to use the book arts as a way for refugees or people who resettled, as a way to tell their stories and use the possibilities of the book art as a way to do that. And so there were 5 artists that were selected to do that, to do workshops with collaborators, as well as do an artwork that inspired by their stories and by the archival visits. So Maureen Cummins was one of the artists, Eric Roon, Courtney Bowles, and Mark Strandquist, as well as myself. So the work basically emerged from conversations that we had from collaborators, and we also did workshops with them. So each one of us would do a workshop depending on what he would prefer, or what kind of media he would like. So here, for example, this is the Journeys workshop. It was a screen printing workshop done by Eric Rohn. And all of the 4 workshops were in Philadelphia, but they were at different venues. So this was at the Second State Press at Philadelphia. I helped him in the workshop, so you can see me here. And the beautiful thing about this project and this workshop, that we had different ages and sometimes even families. So we'd have, like the father, the mother, and the kids who would participate in the workshop. So this was really a great opportunity to collaborate in this kind of project. The workshops that I did 3 workshops. One of them, alternative structure workshops at Fleischer Art Memorial, as well as also another place there. We did it at the 12 Gates Art that I'll show you later. So the idea was that a lot of the participants didn't have art experience. Some of them would have art experience, but no book art experience. So for example, Eric introduced them to printmaking. Courtney Bowles and Mark introduced them to paper making. Maureen Cummins did with them letterpress. I focused on binding, so we did 2 kind of structures. The dos-a-dos structure. So if you know it, it's basically two books connected with one cover. The back cover connects the 2 books together. And the idea of making this structure is that they have multiple narrations, so they can tell the story from different perspectives. It might be the parent with the kid, or it can be also bilingual, because their native language is Arabic, of course. And a lot of instructions I would do in Arabic, and sometimes there would be translators for the other artists. So also having this structure, the dos-a-dos structure, would allow them to do it in Arabic and English, or again, think of different narratives or different perspectives for the same structure. The other structure that I did, also the stiff leaf structure, where I did a lot of preparation for them so that it would be easy to put the book together depending on their stories. So here you can see the participants working on their books. A lot of it was stories about being in Syria or moving to the US, or focusing on something relates to their home country. So some of them use knitting patterns, Another collaborator who was a cook did a book about spices that he uses. The other workshop I did was printmaking, and it was simple printmaking. So my idea was also to how they can use things that are in their home, in their kitchen, household items to do printing. So it was monoprinting using styrofoam or a very simple carving on linoleum. And you can see the top right image. This was done using this, and also collaging. So Asma Diab did this collaborative piece about the birds of the country, and then Abdul Karim, who's a poet and also an artist, multidisciplinary artist, did the wrote the poem there. There was also an exhibition component to it, so at 12 Gates Art, and we did also a workshop with the community. So we opened it up not only to collaborators, but also to people from the community. And on the top left side, you can see my pieces are on the back, the ones with the birds, and this have to do with my book that I will discuss also. While the bottles you can see it, but it's a poem that's laser engraved on these different bottles. So really beautiful piece. And this is an image of the opening with people coming from all over Philadelphia to see the work. Then there were also different places involved in this. So the Free Library of Philadelphia, we had a show there where I put the pieces I created inspired from this project, as well as the collaborators' pieces. So the top image at the center, this is my piece. It's called Inception, and I'm going to talk about it later also, while the other pieces are works that have been created in the either in the workshop that I taught or after it, but using the same techniques and ideas that we discussed together. Part also of the project was the sanctuary. So it have different exhibitions, Friends, Peace, and Sanctuary. The sanctuary was done at the Philadelphia City Hall. And also some of the pieces were projected on the City Hall in the day of the opening. And inside the City Hall, there were the different pieces. It was an extensive project. So there was the artwork, there were a comic that were created also at this time, the different books created, the publications, all of this were on display on the City Hall. And also there was, so after the finish of the project, there was, the collaborator thought of a way to give back to the community. So they started this, they made a fire station dinner where everyone came together, and it was really great. And this is the website if you want to more information about the project and its different components. So fps.swarthmore.edu. So here, this is the piece I created, inspired from the journeys of the refugees. It's called Inception. It's a book of an edition of 30 books, Coptic bound, and it have, again, inspired from their stories based on a poem, a Persian poem, poem from the 12th century. The Conference of the Bird. So the idea of the poem that like there are different birds searching for a leader, and they do this journey. So they meet at the beginning searching for their perfect king, but to find him, they need to start a difficult journey. The birds show their doubts and fears to their lead, which is the hoppo, and he encouraged them to be confident and go through this journey. And then towards the end, they recognize that the king is each and every one of them. So, and like I found a lot of connections between the story and what the collaborators have been trying to do in their lives and in their adaptation to their new lives in the US. So within their journey, in the main story, there are different valleys that they need to go through them, and only 30 birds succeed to do that. So in making the book, I did research again about the text, but also about the imagery. So you can see at the back here different images of birds, and I did this through researching images of birds in the Islamic Museum, Museum of Islamic Art in Cairo. I started to look at the different birds and how they look like on the different materials, wood, stone. In the illustrations in the manuscripts, I started to draw them and to illustrate them and convert them into Illustrator, because I use laser cutting a lot in my work also. So these were laser cut on the sections of the book. So here, this is an image of the Museum of Islamic Art in Cairo, which is with its different elements. So it have works from all over the Islamic world, India, Iran, Europe, Africa. But I was really interested in the birds imagery. So you can see here on clay, on ceramics, on pottery, as well as like things on wood, on ivory, on plates and other different ceramics. So these were the things that I were focusing on. But throughout this also, I started to look at different things that inspired me. So here, like these are the different collection of birds that I had, and then I started to select from them and work on them. One of the things that really inspired me and really I loved when I was in the Islamic Museum is this talismanic shirt. It's like very intriguing for me. I haven't seen one so close before. So it's basically it's a worn talismanic object. It has been like through the Islamic words in different parts. There are different types of it, but it has such a connection with book art that I decided to use it in like future projects. So it have like text, imagery. Usually it would be on cloth, but the cloth would be prepared a lot of times similar to the way Islamic paper making is made, to prepare it for the text and the illustration. So it would have layers of starch, and it would be sized with it, and then it would be using a tool, it would be burnished so that it can hold the writing and the illustrations. The writing sometimes would be religious text, talismanic text, numerals, as well as also zodiacs and like prayers sometimes. So like illustrations, some gilding. So a lot of connections between this and the book art that I thought. So I started to look at it at different museums and places all over the internet. So this is another elaborate version of it. This was on Sotheby, I think. And you can see also the different styles, writing styles that have been applied in it. And starting from this, I started to make different sketches. So I was very much interested in their geometrical design, as well as the use of the text on them. So I started to make these different sketches to also see what they were used for. So the main thing that they were used to: protection, prosperity, guidance, health, magic, celebration, war, peace, and affection. So in my work also, I do a lot of research about the writing. So I started to write this word and see how I can use them in a book form. And here, this is also another sketch that I did for the project. Like thinking of ways to use it as a book art, should I put it in a box? Should I have a display to it? What colors should I use? What materials should I use in this book? And also tried a couple of things on the Illustrator. So different styles of writing, different styles of calligraphy, and how to use them. So this is still a project that I'm working on. I did also some mock-ups. So I did this stiff leaf cut on the shape of the shirt, and then you like by opening it, you would get the full shape of it, and you know, like it can open like a fan like this. Also, I tried using printing and having this you know, like small pamphlet that's sewn on a wooden dowel, so it can stand alone, or maybe it can have a compartment like you know, like a shelf or something that I can put it into it. So and here you know, like you can see, this is just calligraphy, so it's not words, it's just calligraphy, but I like the way they looked on the shirt. So these are 4 sections that are sewn into the wooden dowel. So this is again a project that I'm still working on, so just wanted to show you parts of it. The other element that I really like and was very interested in is the muqarnas, which is an architectural element. You know, like I've seen it a lot, and you know, like in mosques and different buildings, schools and institutions all over the Islamic world. These are old examples also from the Museum of Islamic Art in Cairo. But it was very interesting for me to see them so close and to start researching them. You know, like they are done using different materials, so wood, stone, marble, plaster, but in mainly the Middle Eastern and the North African style would use different parts and then would put them together. So here you can see how they are, you know, like you can put them together, and they are used mainly in architecture for vaulting or in changing from form to another. So from a shape of a square, for example, to a dome to support the building. Sometimes it's used to support, but also it's used aesthetically. So from these different parts, you can get almost endless shapes. And this was really very interesting to me. So I started to collect them also. So these are some of the examples that, you know, like I searched Cairo for them, and, you know, like found this old carpenter who luckily still works on these, and talked about it. And then I liked one of them and decided to explore it more. So here you can see it, and you can see how it's constructed. And I asked him to make this as parts for me. So here you can see these different parts that are basically the building blocks of the muqarnas. So it's by, you know, like putting these together, you can get this shape. But I also started, so here, this is the shape using these different parts put together. But I started to play with it. So I started, you know, like from very simple structures, and you know, like playing, it's almost like play, because it's, you know, like, you know, like once you start in it, it's just an addiction. You keep putting things and removing things. You can see here, you know, like starting from very simple to complex, you know, like to things, and then going crazy, you know, like, yeah, to all these, yeah, different things. Yeah. So it was really great to, you know, like think of it architecturally, but also to think of ways in using it in the book art. So, and again, this is still a project that I'm working on. So here, the simple form, but by adding, you know, like some folds of it, how it can open and close, and using multiple ways in you know, like doing this and seeing it from different angles. So yeah, so this is what I've been working on now. So yeah, so, and that's it for now. So yeah, thank you. This is my contact info if you have any questions or comments, and thank you all for coming. We'll have some time if you have any questions also.
Thank you. That was really wonderful. I love getting the sneak peek. If anyone has questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. And we have a few minutes left. Islam, if you want to stop your screen share.
Sure.
And we can, oh, Kathy Walkup wants to know what the final scale of those last ones, the wood piece books. What's the scale on those pieces?
So I have it with me, right here. So here it
Okay.
is. Yep. So yeah. So it's not that big. Yeah.
Plenty big.
Yeah. And so, and here also I have the different parts. So like, yeah. So by putting them in different ways, you can get a completely different shapes out of them.
Did that carpenter just think you're crazy, or?
Yeah, he kept, like, yeah, that's a good question. Like, he kept asking me, why do you want them? Like, because usually they would use them, like, I only ordered very, like, small number of them. Usually people would, like, you would want to cover a wall of it, or you need hundreds and hundreds. So why do you want them? And I tried to explain it to him, but he still couldn't, like, a book, like using muqarnas, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Or so it was, yeah, so it was a fun conversation to have with him.
There's a question, how many projects do you work on at a time, and do they influence one another? Like, since the pandemic started, like, and I had, like, as all of us, like, we had a lot of time. So I started to work on different, so I have right now maybe 4 or 5 projects that I'm working on them, but on different stages. So some of them would be, like, these 2 are the most, like fruitful ones so far, but I would have different other projects on, like, maybe just writing or a drawing or so, and I work on them, and then I start to, like, sometimes I would, like, be bored from a project, or, like, I don't have any ideas in them, so I would stop working on them and I would switch to a completely different project. Yeah. There's a similar question about the shirt books in terms of size, dimension.
Yeah,
you got it right there.
Yeah, I have it also. So
okay.
That's size. Yeah, and I'm again, like, trying different materials, trying different things. Like, doing some drawings. I also, like, explored with this sewing. So sewing it on a dowel, so that I'm thinking of maybe having it, like, on display like this, and then there can be multiple ones. So, like, you can have one for, like, health, one for prosperity, one for, yeah. So the idea itself is so great. Like, you're like a superhero almost. Like, you wear this shirt and then you completely, like, change into something else. So I find it very intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of possibilities there. Peter wants to know about the connection with Quakerism in that first project you discussed.
Yeah, that's a great question, because, like, Swarthmore is a Quaker institution, and, like, the Peace Collection have also a lot of their involvement with the Middle East and with different parts of the world, and how the Quakers started there. So, like, a lot of the documents I have been reading there, some of them also are bilingual, English and Arabic, like the one I showed you, would, like, talk about the starting of, like, the different missions that came to Egypt or to different parts of the Middle East, which, like, a lot of times I didn't know about before. So it was really interesting to see this aspect of learn about this aspect of the project also, and its history.
Great. We have a technical question about your laser cutter. The question is a little general. How do you use the laser cutter? And another question about what you use when you make paper.
Yeah, so for the laser cutter, I would prepare, so the images need to be prepared in using Illustrator, so that they are a vector, not a bitmap. Bitmap would work, but, like, with the kind of the cutting I do, I prefer the vector, so I prepare the images in a specific way. And then I collaborate with someone who have like a laser cutter. We do a lot of tests using different materials to see how it will look like, if it's cutting on paper or is it just engraving on wood, to see the depth, the color. Because also I use it in different ways. So sometimes I use the section as my unit and I would cut the laser all the way through it so that, you know, like it becomes transparencies with the different sections. And sometimes also I want it just to be traces. So the cutting would be very sharp on the first page of the section and it fades through going. So it requires a lot of testing to do it. For the paper that I make, since I came to Egypt, I do not make any paper because I don't have a paper making equipment right now. But when I was in the US, I used to make paper at the University of Iowa Center for the Book, where I graduated from there. Yeah.
Well, we've pretty much maxed out on time here. So thank you to everyone. I'm sorry if there are questions that we didn't quite get to, but thank you again, Islam, for joining us today, and for everyone taking your lunch break and maybe a little bit more to hang out with us. We're really, really fun to see what you've been working on, and I'm excited to see where they go next. Next month, I'm still getting used to the monthly format. Next month, we'll be talking with Jerusha Graham, who's an artist in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's a long time away, but I hope you can join us for that. So thank you all for coming.